Imagine a world where anything can come true. Imagine meeting a relative halfway across the globe while sitting on your couch. Imagine being able to visit monuments and statues across Europe instantly. Imagine interacting with your favorite video game characters. The idea is to make all that possible with the metaverse. The term metaverse has surrounded us within the past year. A few months ago, Facebook changed its name to Meta, meaning metaverse. The metaverse is a virtual reality space where users can interact with a virtual environment and other users. Examples include Facebook's Horizon World, Roblox, Decentraland, Fortnite, and Microsoft Mesh. It can be seen as the oasis in the movie Ready Player One or the game Free City in the film Free Guy. Creators and entrepreneurs make this term sound like a perfect virtual world, but unfortunately, although some commercial projects and VR games claim to be the metaverse, they don't really contain the core idea. So, what is it that differentiates the metaverse from some average VR video game? Is it that it's more social based, or is it more immersive and that it has a stronger feeling of reality? Well, it's neither. However, there is a very fundamental concept that you've probably heard before. It's called decentralization. A few years ago, it was pretty popular when people talked about blockchain and Bitcoin. You can understand decentralization as being owned by no one. When you say something is decentralized, you mean the power is moved from a central organization to the entire population. The blockchain is a type of decentralized technology that the metaverse depends on. The blockchain essentially is just a database controlled by everybody and it cannot be changed. All the transactions that happen on the blockchain stay permanent and visible. In comparison, when you play a regular VR game, everything, your account, your in-game currency, your avatar can all be manipulated by the game provider. So, in theory, they could delete everything under your account or even delete the account itself without consent. This game is centralized because a central organization can change the data however they want. So people created the blockchain because they dislike being controlled. Being decentralized is a crucial difference that makes a metaverse different to a VR game. But no, I don't think so. I don't believe that decentralization is fundamentally possible. Why? Let's talk about the financial and sustainability side of the metaverse first. What are the problems that we would have if a decentralized metaverse actually exists? First, you can view the metaverse as a real-world replica. This would include a functioning system of economy and business. Therefore, economic activities in the metaverse are presumed to be similar to reality, which means that there will be economic fluctuation. Because the metaverse has no owner, there wouldn't be an organization professionalized to be responsible for making economic regulation. This may result in unwanted consequences. For example, economic recessions might happen more frequently without a centralized bank responsible for regulating inflation and controlling economic activity. In an even worse scenario, when the metaverse becomes an important part of our lives, as the metaverse tokens are exchangeable into legal currency, potential unwanted, unregulated financial disasters in the virtual world will transfer into the real world. It has the potential to create a global disaster. Second, monopolies of megacorporations are unregulated in the metaverse. No one owns the metaverse. It's a virtual world without governments. We get to decide everything in the metaverse. But with democracy comes instability and controversy. We can't decide what the definition of a monopoly is, along with many other problems. There would be trouble regulating when a small number of companies own a significant market share in the metaverse. They would dominate industries such as 3D design of clothing, building, and games associated with the metaverse. You might have thought that these design industries especially require talent and creativity, so it's hard for the companies to control the market. However, this is not the case. We have a living example, TikTok. On TikTok and YouTube, many video uploaders have an organization behind them. These companies, called MCN, provide you with everything you need to become a popular creator. As a result, many creators have contacted them. So, even in fields that require creativity, monopoly can still happen. However, not only can companies dominate the market, but they can also dominate the currency. A report by the Wall Street Journal stated, with an estimated 140 million people globally holding the cryptocurrency according to Crypto.com, that means that approximately 0.01% of Bitcoin holders control 27% of the 19 million Bitcoin in circulation. This is even more extreme than the segregation of wealth in the US, and Bitcoin has only existed for about a decade. However, there is a suggested alternative to governments when regulating the metaverse. It's called DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. It's a computer program designed to perform tasks. People can introduce campaigns and are performed on the metaverse if there are enough votes. Their code and data to the campaign are public, so it's completely transparent in implementing the campaign. But despite the transparency, DAO cannot play the regulator's role in the metaverse. First, the code of the DAO is exploitable. There will be no secrets within as everything is exposed. Hackers can read the code and find its weakness. Second, the DAO doesn't work all the time. The father of crowd psychology, Le Bon, is a very important man who is still well known and is still appreciated for his revolutionary book, The Crowd, which founded the entire study of crowd psychology. In the book, he stated that when a person is in a group, they would display insufficient levels of intelligence in exchange for the group's acceptance. They wouldn't hold responsibility and won't make decisions based on rational thinking, but instead on primitive emotions and frantic enthusiasm. Sometimes, a group is more stupid than a single person. Although this is very unlikely, this may be one of the fatal flaws of DAO, and in general, public voting systems. Hitler was a perfect example. Third, there would be problems that would arise under the token economy of the metaverse. The metaverse uses a currency that's just created out of thin air. These cryptocurrencies have no meaning, yet they are used to host transactions. The real money is trusted with people's faith in its government because government has complete control over this currency. This isn't always bad. At least they can ensure that the currency isn't so volatile that it can be used as everyday currency. The people using it won't have to worry about all their money's value disappearing over one night. What does crypto have? The price is entirely based on the market, which is unstable. In June 2017, Ethereum, a popular cryptocurrency, dropped from $319 to 10 cents in minutes. In October 2021, Bitcoin rose by 11% simply from a tweet by Elon Musk, giving him an increase of wealth by over $200 million, as he holds nearly 43,000 Bitcoins. The instability and free economy of crypto meant room for capital manipulation. The people won't choose to use crypto as a future currency, judging by its current volatility. It's like an infinite downward spiral. If you don't receive enough public interest, crypto would become a commodity, not a currency, which would cause crypto to become more volatile. But the more volatile it gets, the less likely the public would choose to use it as a currency. So the loop repeats. It requires a huge amount of effort to reverse this spiral. So there's still huge room for improvement on the token economy side of the metaverse, and the current cryptocurrency cannot be used as a legit trading currency. Before we move on, as a periodic conclusion, we have 3 points in mind. First, the financial risk of the metaverse without a central bank, the potential market control of monopolies, and the volatility and public acceptance of cryptocurrency. Now, onto the development side of the metaverse. What problems would the metaverse have to face during the current development? Right now, the proto-metaverse includes business models, which is basically just selling virtual tokens, clothes, and land. Let's take Decentraland, for example. It's an easily accessible metaverse from your browser. The business model works like this. The company itself, Decentraland, sells cryptocurrency, called Mana, so that players can buy land and clothes in Decentraland. Decentraland runs their government on the DAO, which Decentraland users can vote. The voting system consists of weights. The more assets you have in Decentraland, the more valuable your vote is. Your vote counts more. This is very similar to the stock market. The price of the stock share, or mana, of Decentraland mainly relies on the market expectation. Essentially, Decentraland is a company where you buy their stock share and use it to buy virtual stuff and influence the company's decision in the metaverse. Let's pause for a minute and reflect. The more assets you own, the more your vote counts. This means that the rich people with a lot of assets gets to make the decisions. Now, in real life, governments can tax the rich, but in the metaverse, it's going to be a lot harder. It's not hard to predict that the wealth segregation in the metaverse is going to be a lot worse. Now, let's link that back to the quote. Approximately 0.01% of Bitcoin holders control 27% of the Bitcoin in circulation. The segregation is starting to show some signs now, right? Also, I want to ask the question, what is the real potential that people see in the metaverse that's driving the market so hyped about it? They say that the metaverse has more potential than just virtual clothing. Its technology can extend from military, education, healthcare, manufacturing, and real estate. But the thing I don't understand is that these fields don't even require a decentralized system or cryptocurrency. It doesn't require a metaverse. It only requires VR. These two concepts are completely different. Any VR equipment could be used for these purposes. So, what is the exact point of the metaverse existing? That's my question, and I don't know how to answer it. In fact, I feel like these companies are just selling the idea of decentralization while covering the problems it can have. We say that our imaginations are unlimited, but if we can't imagine any better purpose for the metaverse, what real potential can it have? Is the market too hyped? Is the entire metaverse just a bubble? Think about the NFTs right now. Completely overpriced. Two similar looking Bored Ape NFTs, which come from the same artist with no difference in artistic value, and yet one can sell for 2.8 million US dollars, while the other can be only sold for 5. Do you want this strange market system to be part of your future life? Finally, I want to talk about why I did this talk. When I first learned about the metaverse, I was frightened. It was the irrational fear that potentially led to this talk being delivered. I was afraid that everyone would live in the virtual world and that there would be no attention paid to reality, no scientific progress. Nobody is interacting physically. The world would be left like a landfill, and no one is trying to do anything about it. People are all escaping into the virtual world. I also felt confused when I first learned about the concept. I wondered, why did people want to live in the virtual world? Could the metaverse really be their second life? The metaverse isn't even close to creating a second life, and yet the market is so hyped about it. Is it because people want to escape reality even more than we already are? What about all the problems that we have to face? Poverty, hunger, health, education, inequality, global warming. Are we just gonna ignore it? These problems won't disappear themselves. Is the metaverse the solution? And would these problems reenact in the metaverse? We don't know, and we're so enthusiastic about the metaverse for some reason. The exact purpose of the metaverse isn't clear. All the problems that I mentioned that the metaverse has to overcome could potentially be like a criticism to the internet 27 years ago. It may look stupid once the metaverse is an actual thing. The metaverse can have a meaningful impact if it actually becomes a fully decentralized platform. At that point, we can incorporate all our current services, such as food, taxi, social media, onto the metaverse, where no one genuinely owns it. Nobody can control our digital data. It's an excellent idea, but there's a whole set of challenging barriers that we have to overcome before it can fully become a viable lifestyle. I don't see the benefits of being so excited when we have a really long way to reach there. I still emotionally fear the metaverse. Imagine a world where there's no longer anyone chatting in real life, instead filled with people glued to their VR goggles, barely spending time away from the metaverse. Imagine a world where children are raised to play and chat in the metaverse, isolated from the real world, no longer needing to use their imaginations or even think. Imagine a world full of corroded statues, broken monuments, and torn down infrastructure. Imagine a world with criminals thriving without law or authority. A world filled with poverty, people starving and crying in despair. Thank you for listening.